Thoughts on the graphics? Um, it looks okay. I mean, definitely looks better than it looked in 7. That's kind of about it. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything bad, I would say. So, what if you're talking about like the moves displayed? Yeah, it's a nice change from. Oh, I think I have to restart the server anyway, or whatever it's called. Let me remake, because I think when it gets full, it gets like fucked. So let me remake. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, some of the animations on Paul look jank, but overall, my impressions of the trailer are really positive. I think they're doing enough to spice up the game and not make it so of the same game over and over and over again, which is like a really big positive. Because for the most part, like a lot of characters have been playing the same game since 6. Like Paul is basically the same, Brian's basically the same. Like if you know how to play Brian and Paul in 7, like you can go to tag and for the most part go to 6 and be just fine. There are a couple characters like that. King overall is the same character, but like for Paul and Brian especially, it's just the same fucking combos over and over again. Like literally, it's like okay, well you go to tag and then like Brian's Sway 2-4 is a bound, his 4-4 is a bound, but then it's like okay, well then you go to 7, Sway 2-4 is a spin, 4-4 is a spin. And it makes no fucking sense. So yeah, you're like people who've been playing Brian and Paul and shit. It's the same fucking character for like 15 years now. It's crazy. The same character. But at least now, it looks like they're changing him a little bit. Now, granted, he still has back 1-2 spin. Down back 2 is now a spin, and it used to be filler in like Tekken Tag 2 here. But at least they're like, it looks like they're trying to make it somewhat different. So we're not going to be playing the fourth iteration of T5. It looks like we're going to be playing something different. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, obviously it's yet to be seen. But at least it looks like they're trying. That's all I'm really excited about. At least it looks like they're trying. So, I'm excited. With that being said, yeah, I mean, the graphics are a little bit let down from like the single player, but I think that was to be expected. I do like how from the original, like, I don't know if you want to call it like pre-alpha footage or whatnot that they had shown, that it looks like it has gotten better overall. Obviously, Paul does like the flex now. Paul has the different artwork. It's slightly reworked overall, everything. So I think I was watching a video of Eris where he's talking about how, the amount of changes we've seen, he's saying how we have like realistically probably a year left. It's like, imagine what they can do in a year, versus what they had shown us just like 2-3 months ago, right? It's like huge difference coming down the pipe, which is great. But like I said, we've gotten to the point where it's like, 7 and all of them are basically all the same. Now, granted, at least with tag, it's spicy because, there's 2 characters and you use your character's weaknesses and your strengths to make a better team. So at least there's kind of like spice there. It's like, oh, I want to play Ling with King today. I want to play Ling with Miharu today. I want to play Ling with Asuka or whatever, or Lily or whoever. Like, at least there's some spice, but like 7, it's like more of the same, constantly the same shit over and over. Oh, here comes a power crush. Oh, here comes a character who still hasn't been nerfed. Oh, that's cool. Like, what the fuck? And as usual, I'm not shitting on particular players, but it's like, come on, man. How many times can we see a fucking Akuma just absolutely dominate? Like, come on. Why does 2D still so hyper dominant, even despite all the nerfs they've received, right? And it comes just down to just general fundamentals of the game that they haven't fixed. They haven't added anti-airs. They haven't added like armor break attacks. It's so strange. How do you like so hard implement a character that just trounces every other character? And I'm not just talking about Akuma, and I'm talking about Geese and even Eliza to some extent. Like, they just straight up beat characters, and there's no way to rebut their playstyle, right? Other than like nerf Dragon Punch or something. Like Leo versus Akuma is still like absolutely insane, even despite all the buffs they've given Leo and the nerfs to Akuma. I would imagine Akuma versus Leo is still in the realm of like 6-4, maybe 7-3, but like, oh man, dude. That's what I've been trying to say all along with like my tier list overall. Is like, this is a game where it's you know, haves and have-nots. That's all this game really is. If your character is top tier / god tier, you're allowed to play a game that other characters aren't allowed to play. And not only that, you force your will playing that character onto other people. Does that mean it's insurmountable? Of course not. Because, you know, for the most part, there's really no, like, 8-2 matchups, even though there's maybe 1 or 2, arguably. You know. But you force the opponent to play completely different, and they don't have any chance to play how they want to play. And I don't mean in, like, a skillful, like, oh, a beginner versus a newbie. A newbie wants to mash a beginner, or an advanced player wants to play correctly. No, I mean, literally, they're not allowed to play. Like, Zafina is such a great example still of how absolutely bugged and completely annihilated the hitbox, hurtbox issues are in this game. She is allowed to do stupid shit because they still haven't fixed it. They still haven't nerfed her. Like I was talking about, you're forced to do specific things to beat specific matchups, and it's not fun. Oh, you're playing Heihachi? I hope you like using down 1, because that's the only fucking input you're going to be using the entire game. So bad. Just complete terrible decision making and lack of support properly. Okay, so let's say hypothetically if TA doesn't do well, come back to Tag 2. So we're in a tricky space where if I would say if T7 was, you know, just 2.5 years old, I would say Tekken Tag 2 probably would be more popular, but at this point, with how much legacy it is and how many copies of the game have been bought, I don't think T7's going anywhere. Realistically, I don't think it's going anywhere. Reason to ask is there's a tag emulator. I think the luster will fade away probably within a few months. I mean, me personally, I'm going to still be playing on PS3 on Sundays. I'm going to keep that going. But I think T7 will have staying power, despite how much overall the game is kind of mediocre.
Round 1. Fight!